to the 30th anniversary of the National Motorcycle Museum. My name is Steve Parrish and we're about to get underway with a chat with some very famous people from the past. This show is all about Slippery Sam. I don't know if many of you know about Slippery Sam, but it was a very famous Triumph motorcycle that had a very checkered career, but it was also hugely successful. And a lot of people involved with that. One of the riders that rode that bike and actually won the 1974 TT on it is Mr. Mick Grant, who is going to ride that bike in a minute, which would be really nice to hear it. But I'd like to invite up some of the boys that were involved with it, some of the backroom staff as well. One that wasn't backroom, of course, was Norman White. Norman Hyde is about here somewhere, I believe. Could I invite up Arthur Jakeman, John Woodward, and Bill Fannin. Are you here today, gentlemen? Where are you? £7,000 worth of riding, still my ticket today. Mick Grant and Slippery Sam. How about that? Give a big round of applause.
Yeah, on that classic series, yeah.
On the classic series, yeah. 55.
55.
55 races on that bike.
55 wins.
Have you? Really? So in what, over what period?
So from 2000.
Okay.
2000 to 2009.
Brilliant. Give him a round of applause.
It has to be said that it's
That's in the 125 class.
The machine is such. We perfected it now. We made it such a fabulous machine. If I didn't have that machine to ride, I would never have won that many races. I'm not that good.
And have you got more power out of it now?
We're doing about 85 horsepower now.
85.
Yes,
Okay.
yeah, safely. It stays together at 85 horsepower.
Okay, and that's through better technology as well.
Well, yes. The main problem with the main problem in '72, as I've said, was the gearboxes. They failed regularly. We were shoveling gears off them.
Would that have been a 4-speed gearbox?
5-speed.
5.
5-speed. But
Were there 5 speeds in that?
there were.
See, that's where you went wrong. There's another gear there.
I did remind you, it was before, but I think you forgot. But it wasn't the gears themselves that were at fault, it was the primary transmission. And the fact that we had two very strong, or three very hard, strong riders riding these things much harder than they were ever designed to do. You had a triplex chain driving a very big heavy clutch on the end of a very long main shaft, and it used to bend the main shaft and break the gears. But we did come up with a solution, but it was too late for '72. But I'm firmly convinced that as successful as the monocoque was in '73, that machine would have been equally as successful had we sorted the gearbox problem out for that season. Because it really is a joy to ride that bike.
How much did it weigh?
Sort of scooped under it and took the contract away.
Right.
And looking at it did me a big favour because it left the door open for other things. But in '73, Frank asked me, we're down in Nimble at the 200, and Frank said, could you ride the Norm and the TT and finish second to Peter? Well, Peter at that time was far better than I was around there anyway, so it was a no-brainer, so we agreed to do that. And in actual fact, finished second behind Peter in the TT in '73. The bike on the last lap, I don't know how we got the thing home, it wasn't running good. Then it did actually split the crankcases horizontally.
Yeah, the Norman smile, they call it. It was a common problem.
Split the crankcases, right?
They split horizontally across the main drive
The what smile?
Called the Norman smile.
The Norman smile, okay, right, which is making next. So Philip,
The first time I rode the bike, and Norman corrected me there, was in Sweden, Anderstorp. And in practice, I was going down the back straight, and I had this bang, pulled the clutch in, and nothing happened. I thought, oh God, the gearbox is gone. And I eventually fell off it. And what had happened, part of the flywheel, because they cast iron flywheels, the flywheel came out of the engine, hit the deck, straight through the fairing, cut the rear tyre in half, and I fell off with a flat rear tyre. And I remember there was Dave Potter of the Cusco Norm, and I was 140 miles an hour like that. And his wheel was coming close, his braking hard. but I'm not braking as hard as he's on the arse. And his back wheels in about that close to the nuts. I've never described him like that. So that was my first go on the Norton.
There's a bit of a pattern, perhaps. I don't know if you were in here earlier, but Mick's been up here a couple of times now. And every time we talk, there's a crankshaft break and then plywood's flying out. I don't know if there's some sort of kind of correlation here.
I've got to come in here and I've got to say that I think that was the only major engine failure we ever had on in 72. Right. It was always gearboxes.
And going back to Sweden, Nick, you wouldn't want to lose that tackle in Sweden because you said a lot of fun in the evenings, didn't you?
Absolutely not.
So, Phil, did Nick get paid more than you then? He got 12.
I don't know, he never told me how much he was getting, how much he wasn't
The
getting.
Batman's like me in this, we better not talk about it.
Well, I did Frank Gross a favour by selling for a very small amount.
I'm sure you did, you're known for that, no. But you did go on and race the following year, didn't you?
Well, that's right, I mean, he had some great races, although the Norton just was down a bit on the triples we were racing against on power. And we can make it up, of course, on cornering because of the Norton handle so well. But I was really upset that at Imola I finished fourth there, behind the two new Ducatis, the Tesmo Ducatis, and Agno was leading on the MV Augusta, which I tested the week before for him. And in actual fact, he blew the engine up. So, lucky Paul Smart, for one win, he's been made famous by winning on the Ducati. He gets a new Ducati every year now, from one race. I mean, that's nice. So, yeah, I was fourth, and I think Peter was fifth. But, yeah, the Norton was beautiful. I think we had twin discs then, did we? For Imola?
For Imola, yes. But you did, but Peter always stayed with one disc.
Okay, so, well, I beat him, but yeah, he was split down on power compared with the triples and the Ducatis. But a lovely ride and a beautiful bike.
I remember John Cooper at Daytona, it must have been 73, and he must have been having bother with the Norton just in that particular practice session. And he came in, and of course the team manager's Frank Perris, and Frank had always had this saying, Jesus made it. So where was what Jesus made it? So Coop came in off the banking, and I was sharing the same car, he got me for 350 mile there. And I stressed if he had a mechanical problem with maybe misfire or jetting or something. And he came back in and said, Jesus, Frankie, he says, this Norton's frightened the life out of me. And Frank says, Jesus made it, why? He said, it's going so slow, it's slipping off the banking. But I think we got it better later in the week.
Norman, you've followed it all the way through different rides and everything else. What do you think its biggest achievement was in that bike?
In 72, 1972. Well, that's hard to say. I thought Phil's fourth place in the very first race, where we were actually still finishing the bike at Daytona. We were actually finishing building the damn thing. That stands out as pretty remarkable, I thought.
Some good brakes, we could have won it. We were only 8 seconds behind the winner.
What did
John empty.
Your brakes were just not up to it?
Well, they didn't have time to fix the rear brake to be working, which is the max brake, turn the other way around to that, and a simple disc twisted the forks when you were braking heavily up, coming off the braking at high speed into the infield.
And in fairness, those discs I'm looking at now, they were like, I guess off of like a car originally.
Well, you can see what we were up against. We were a very small team and we had very little time, and Phil wanted twin discs, so you can see exactly what we've done. We've taken a production racer. The bike was fitted originally with a production racer, disc brake and a fork slider. And of course it's a left-hand fork slider, and that's all we had, left-hand fork sliders. So we took another left-hand fork slider and reversed it and pointed it so you've got a caliper looking backwards and a caliper looking forwards. That's how we got out of getting Phil a twin disc, and Mick, of course, because he insisted on twin disc as well. It's interesting to note that Peter always wanted a single disc.
Because the gyroscopic effect, I guess.
But it's also very interesting to note that Peter stopped both times at Daytona and Imola with gearbox troubles, yet Phil didn't. Phil was relying on his brakes more than Peter, and Peter was relying more on the gearbox. Different style of riding, you see.
Okay.
But you asked me about my memorable, my best memories of the 72 bike results. we had to. I remember some very good results. It was either all or nothing basically on the John Player because of the gearboxes. But this bloke next to me, he gave us our very first Superbike win at Scarborough. And in fact, it could have been a first, second and third because the three Nortons were lying first, second and third. Phil was in second place and Peter was in third place. And Phil fell off at the bottom of the hill. Yes, you fell off here. Don't you remember?
Sorry.
Yeah. And Peter came second. And that was a most memorable moment. And also, Peter won the international race of the South, was it? The Brands Hatch? There were some very, very good results, but the problem was there was so much bad publicity over the gearbox failures that overshadowed all the results. The TT was a disaster, an absolute disaster.
Right. Any questions? There's a lot to see here, an awful lot to see, but in about 20 minutes' time we are going to be talking TT. We've got John McGuinness up here, John Cooper, Moon Eyes, Stuart Garner, boss of Norton, and Ken Sprace, the man that used to put all these frames together. That takes place at 3:30, then at 4:30 we've got the raffle for this. The Vincent here, we've valued at around £40,000. We're going to fill that trampoline up with raffle tickets. They're going to come in here, fill that up. Then John McGuinness is going to jump on that, so it's probably going to break. And then we'll get the ticket out and we'll find out who has won that. There's three prizes actually. It's a weekend break somewhere. There's a BSA Bantam to be won that's upstairs, and that's all going on. So you go and enjoy yourself, or if you want, stay, or if not, come back in 20 minutes time. Thank you very much indeed. Good afternoon everyone, I hope you had a fantastic day here at the 30th anniversary of the National Motorcycle Museum. I think you'll all agree there's been so much to see. We've got the final show here right now, which is going to be all about the fabulous TT racing. And I've got so many great guests coming up here, and I've also got a very famous bike being ridden out here very, very shortly. So I'd like you please to put your hands together for my first guest that's going to come up here and talk to us about the TT and many other things, Mr. John Cooper, ladies and gentlemen. Good night. You just had to do 2 steps at a time to show off, didn't you? I saw it, well done. Another gentleman that's full of knowledge, and he can give us a lot of information about what's going on with some of the fantastic motorcycles you can see here at this museum. It is the big boss of Norton, Stuart Garner, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, good. John Cooper, please take a microphone. Do you want to take the one off, Stuart? Lovely to see you here, John. It's all switched on. No, you're all on. You're on. You're just talking. It'll work. Lovely to see you here, John. I know you're very much involved in restoration. That's a lot of your work now. In fact, we can't really call it work, but you do a lot of restoration work now, don't you, John?
Yes, I do. I do the old bike that I've done up since I retired. Yeah. But,
and I've seen them, and they are about as good as you're going to get, aren't they?
Oh, they're immaculate. Very, very, very nice. I've just finished a 1952 Valsette MAC. That's really nice. I've got a 1936 KSS and a Triumph Twin, and a Venom and a Dominator 88. Yeah,
all right, okay. And you still ride them regularly?
All the time.
All the time. Good on you. Nice here. Now, we're talking about the TT. What's your fondest memories out there? I know you've had some great successes there.
Well, I was thinking about the TT, before I came this morning. I thought, I can remember when I first went to the TT, when they were craning the bikes on and craning them off, and sometimes people were rich enough to have the vans craned on, and we used to ride them from the docks up to the garage, and then from the garage, when they got them ready, and ride them up Glen Crutchley Road to the start of the practice, 4 o'clock in the morning, waiting for it to get light. How things have changed, and all the little people having garages all over the place with bikes in there.
I know. And they used to suck your petrol out as well before you put your
Oh yeah, put the petrol out, and they used to get a drop to ride up to the garage, and ride him up the main road. Nobody ever bothered about insurance or anything.
No. In fact, yeah, I was explaining that to someone that back even in my day, which is slightly later than yours, not by a lot, but very rarely did anyone work on the bikes up at the paddock. It was all done back at a garage, somebody's house.
Oh, back at the garages and little sheds and that. It was really interesting walking around and watching all the people, and fantastic.
Having a cup of tea brought to you by the people.
Brought to you, and yes, very, 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 very interested to watch the people. And I mean, nobody who was at the back of the paddock, the odd tent, but it was all in little garages.
Yeah, and it was, I don't know if it was illegal or legal, but we didn't give a shit because you could just ride your bike back to the garage.
Well, I used to ride the bikes up to the start line and back down to the garage, and nobody bothered. It was really great fun.
Yeah, absolutely. And did you ever meet anyone out there, any ladies out there or anything while you were sharing a garage or anything like that?
I would think so, wouldn't you?
I would have thought so. I thought it'd be rude not to, wouldn't it?
It would.
Yeah, it certainly would.